Today is Mother's Day, a day that's set aside to honor moms, a day to express how much we love them. But honestly, we shouldn't just do that on one day, should we? Same thing with God. We shouldn't just wait till Sunday to pray and sing and serve. Every day should be a day to love, honor, respect those that are important to us. This morning, we're going to look at a mother that maybe many overlook. Usually when you think, oh, Mother's Day, it's easy. We'll talk about Mary because, Jesus, of course. We'll talk about Hannah. She prayed for a child and was finally given one, and she gave the child back to the Lord. Maybe Eve, maybe Sarah. The list goes on and on of mothers that, people may jump to first. But I don't know how many sermons are given about her or how many books have been written about her. We're going to look at James and John's mom. Unless there's some evidence that points to her being Salome. You may have heard that name or come across that name when you've read the Gospels. It's possible that it could be her, the wife of Zebedee. Salome was a follower of Jesus. She was at the empty tomb. It's even theorized that she might have even been Mary's sister. So if that's the case, James and John would be cousins of Jesus. So it would be crazy to think when Jesus went and called James and John to follow him, hey, Uncle Zebedee, I'm taking my cousins and we're going to go minister. Okay, bye. If that's the case, it kind of makes sense. Who do you start out with? Anything. Family, right? But if it's not her, we may not know who she is, but her story is in here nonetheless, and it's important. Matthew chapter 20, 2 verses this morning. Verse 20 and 21. And then there's a joke, right? How much can we get from 2 verses? There's quite a bit in here. All right. Then the mother of James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus with her sons. She knelt respectfully to ask a favor. What is your request? He asked. She replied, in your kingdom, please let my 2 sons sit in places of honor next to you, one on your right and the other on your left. Of course, later on, Jesus, it's not up to me that decides who sits there. It's up to the Father. And then can they drink what I'm going to drink? Can they endure what I'm going to have to endure? We're going to focus on her request. She goes to Jesus. Jesus, in your kingdom, would it be all right if one of my sons was on your left and one of my sons was on your right? That's a pretty nice request, ain't it? Should have asked that to my mom next time I talked to her. Hey, Mom, have you ever asked Jesus if I could? Wonder what she'd say. She'd first say, I've never asked that. What James and John's mom did. You can fuss at your moms too if you want. Of course, we don't know what prompted her to ask this or what lessons or teachings she might have been around for or what her sons may have told her about what they were doing throughout her travels. But she knew enough to, hey, I'm going to ask Jesus, do something for my boys. She was bold enough to approach Jesus, and she was respectful. So she knelt down. It wasn't just, hey, I'm in your face type of deal. She was reverent with her request. She wanted to make sure her sons were taken care of. After all, they were in the inner circle. Peter, James, and John. They were there's the 12 apostles, but then there was the inner circle. Who was on the Mount of Transfiguration? These 3 men. Because there's a few things I want to draw our focus to this morning. Yes, it's Mother's Day, so we'll ask the questions, to mothers, to mother figures, but it can apply to fathers, uncles, aunts, grandparents, anybody that has any influence on someone else, and that's all of us. We all have a sphere of influence. So it applies. But the question is, do you want your kids to be part of the kingdom? That's the first question. The second is, do you want your kids to be participating in the kingdom? And the last one is, do you want your kids to be powerfully used in the kingdom? James and John's mom wanted, yes, yes, yes. She'd check off all those boxes. I want my kids in the kingdom. I want them doing things, and I want them powerfully used. How much more power could you get between being on the right and left of Jesus? Jesus' right and left-hand men are my boys. Wow, that'd be a lot to be proud of, wouldn't it? Did you know that my sons sit beside Jesus? Talk about a proud mama. Godly mothers and fathers should want to see their children saved. It should be at the forefront of every parent's mind, should it not? It's a wonderful day when you think back, oh yes, I can remember when my son, when my daughter, when they accepted the Lord. I remember when we went to church and we've got pictures of their baptism. I remember. It's a wonderful thing. And beyond leading a child to Christ, the parent needs to disciple, make sure their children stay grounded in the faith. It's one thing to get to convert somebody, because that's the start. You should never think that's the end. All right, got them in the door. My work is done. There's a lot more to it than that. There's nothing wrong with wanting kids to succeed in this world. Something would be wrong, right, if we didn't want our kids to be successful. No, I don't want my kid to be educated. I don't want him to have a good job. I don't want him to have a nice place to live. I don't want him to have a car that works. That'd be wrong if we thought that way. However, though, when your kid stands before God one day and everything is looked at, only one thing matters: their relationship with the Lord. The Lord won't care what house the kid lived in, what they drove, what school they went to, what their trade was, where their office was, what their income was, what their hobbies were. Do they know the Lord? Has anyone ever caught up with an old friend you've been out and about? How you doing? How you doing? How's your mama? How's your daddy? How's your kids? And you catch up and you share all sorts of things. You might brag about your children or how well they're doing, about their grades, their athletic abilities, maybe their musical talents and hobbies, maybe the college they went to. Oh, yeah, little Jimmy's married now. I can't believe it. We've not seen each other in so long. He's married. He's got 4 kids. His job is whatever. He's got the corner office, makes 6 figures. But he's still not saved. We don't normally add that, do we? Might just skim over that part. Oh, yeah, little Jimmy's so great. 6-figure job, corner office, drives a fancy car, has a huge house. But he's still an unrepentant sinner heading straight to hell. It doesn't add up right. We can't just focus on, oh, yeah, so-and-so's great, but they're unsaved. Jesus said in Mark 8:36, what does it benefit you if you gain the whole world but lose your soul? I mean, that just doesn't apply to kids. That applies to everybody. What good is it if I'm world famous, but I'm lost? Who cares if the whole world knows who I am? If I've got 1 million followers online, if I'm writing books and going on tours, and it doesn't matter if I'm lost. And then it doesn't matter if our kids are smart, talented, athletic, musical, friendly, etc., if they're heading to hell. Yay, I've got a nice boy, but he's lost. Yay, she's the smartest girl ever, but she's lost. Got to make sure our kids are saved above everything else. Like, I'd rather have a kid made all B's and going to heaven than a kid with straight A's bound for the opposite. Because if you have a child or beyond, depending on generations, or you can go nieces, nephews, cousins, whoever it is, you've got to act now. Let them know that Jesus should be their Lord and Savior. But there's no guarantee of tomorrow, and there's no guarantee that anyone else will tell them about Jesus. I'll just wait. Someone else will tell them. There's no guarantee. If you know someone that needs to know the Lord, whose responsibility does that fall on? Whose shoulders is that? You and me. If I know somebody, I need to tell. You know somebody, you need to tell. Maybe we should tell them today. I'll do it on Thursday. What if they pass away on Tuesday? There goes an opportunity. What if I was to pass away on Tuesday? I'm going to meet them on Thursday. Act while we can. Godly moms want their kids to participate in the kingdom. It's one thing to get them in the door. It's another to do things once you get them in. Getting saved is just the beginning, not the end. And sadly, a lot of people treat it that way. They're in the door, they're saved, and we forget about the discipling part. We forget about the being active in our faith part. Once a person gets saved, they have work to do. It's like we love Ephesians 2, 8 and 9. We're saved by grace through faith. We can't boast. It's a gift of God, and that's a wonderful thing. We want to leave off verse 10. We have work to do. Work that was planned for us long ago. God's got something for each and every one of us to do. Some of it may be similar. Some of it may be different. But we all have things to do. We can't ever just think, I don't have to lift a finger for the kingdom. We all have work to do. James and John's mom didn't just ask that her kids get in the kingdom. Oh no, she wanted way more than that. She was, Jesus, could you let my kids just be in the kingdom? That's all, just in the kingdom. Oh no, she went much further. She wanted to be at the forefront, to be center stage, to have positions of power, respect, responsibility. Again, hey, Jesus, you're going to be on the throne, but to your left and to your right, hey, that's a good place for my boys. It should never be enough just to be in. Far too many sit back, want to receive a blessing, hear a message, and not do anything. That's a phenomenon all over the world. We can't do that. Our faith can't just be an hour on Sunday morning, can it? If we only ate on Sundays, our bodies would wither away, right? We can't just be Christians an hour a week. It doesn't work. Of course, things do start at home. Things that are exampled and preached on, taught in homes by parents, are things that will show up easier and easier in the lives of children. If parents never read a book, chances are our kids going to read books. Maybe not. If parents don't exercise, will the kids? A lot of things, kids, mimic, act like, do what their parents do. If parents don't make kids mind at home, why do we expect them to behave, out and about? If parents don't pray, why would the kids? If parents don't go to church, why would the kids? If parents don't serve, why would the kids? It starts with us and it works down throughout the generations. Of course, again, you can't blame the teacher if your child doesn't study or do homework, can you? Is the teacher at the house? No, mom and dad is. It's like you can't blame the preacher if your kid doesn't pray or read the Bible. The preacher doesn't live with you. No, the buck stops where? At the house. Here's a quote. I think it was from Billy Graham. It says, "Children will invariably talk, eat, walk, think, respond, and act like their parents. Give them a target to shoot at. Give them a goal to work toward. Give them a pattern that they can see clearly, and you give them something that gold and silver cannot buy." It's like, but I want my kids to act like me. If it's a no, then, I got a lot of work to do, right? But if it's a yes, I'm leading them on the right track. So then when Paul says, if you don't know how to follow Christ, imitate me. That's a big challenge for everybody, right? Do you want to know what following Jesus looks like? Do what I do. Can we say that? Can we say that? Can I say that to my kids? Do you want to know how to get to Jesus? Do what I do. You follow me, you'll find him. Godly parents set an example of faith and service. They model for them what the Christian life is supposed to look like. They want them not to just be part of the kingdom, but also participating in the kingdom. And the last thing is godly moms want their kids to be powerfully used in the kingdom. James and John's mom not only wanted them to be in the kingdom and serving, but to reach their full potential. Are parents generally content with a child just making a team? Some may be. That's cool. You're on the team. But more than that, we want our kids to be the star of the team, right? We want them to do their best, be their best, have the best statistics they can, play hard. Granted, each of us is given different abilities. Now I'm like, cool, I made the team. I get to play a little bit. That's all right. But everybody's different. They want their kid to start, to be good, to be better. Parents never fuss at umpires, do they? Because their kid was right. No one in this room would ever do that. They fuss at coaches. Why isn't my boy playing? He's better than that guy. Whether he is or not, right? We definitely think so. They may even fuss at other parents. That would probably not go over very well, but it may happen. Yeah. Are parents generally content with just the kid going to school? No, we want them to do better. We want them to make good grades, try hard, and that'll help them out later. They want their kids to have the skills needed to make it on their own. Mrs. Zebedee here had big hopes and dreams and wishes. She wanted the best for her boys. Again, she didn't just ask Jesus to let them in, but she wanted them up front. She wanted them to be where they were supposed to be. And there's nowhere better to be than beside Jesus. It's like, do you want your kids, your friends, your family to be near Jesus? She didn't want to settle for anything less than the best. Again, how much better could you be than sitting beside Jesus? Parenthood in general, motherhood in particular, isn't always a cakewalk. If you've raised a young'un, whether for one day or however many years, even if your baby's 30, 40, 50, it's not a cakewalk, is it? Some days might be better than others. Now, there's many things to be happy about. When a kid hits all those milestones, it's great. It's proud. You got pictures to commemorate things. Oh, here's the first birthday, and they're covered in cake. Here's a picture of them. Oh, they were covered in mud from whatever. Here's where we went to a theme park or a national park or a ball game or whatever. Right? We commemorate all those things. And sometimes, they can be discouragements along the way, but we want to focus on the good. Of course, in the end, whether through all the good, any hiccups along the way, it really matters what a person does with Jesus. Yeah, accolades are nice, trophies on the wall are nice, plaques are good, certificates, ribbons, a fridge full of drawings, whatever it may be. Those are nice. But in the end, those things don't matter. What people do with Jesus. And the people most equipped to present Jesus and model Jesus are who? So if it's mom and dad, it's grandma and grandpa, it's aunt and uncle so-and-so. Those are people that need to be models, need to be as best they can be. Yes, it's a good thing to have quality preachers, quality Sunday school teachers, friends, family, youth group leaders, but mom and dad are the key. Although usually it's like, who gets kids usually in church more times? If mom and dad go, kids go. Mom and dad pray at home, kids are more likely to pray. Mom and dad read, kids are more likely to read. 2 Timothy 1:5 says this, I remember your genuine faith, for you shared the faith that first filled your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and I know that same faith continues in you. Timothy was a believer because he had godly influences in his life. His mom, his grandma, they taught him the faith, and he kept going. So in closing, to all mothers, mothers-to-be, mother figures, thank you. Thanks for sacrificing, for serving, for praying, for loving. Thanks for showing the love of Jesus to us, for letting us know that we need to be active in our faith with him as well. It is the prayers and faith of countless moms, and we can throw grandmas in there, that many of us are still here today. Where would we be if mama and grandma was not praying for me? Oh yeah, we're off wandering, doing our own thing. God, bring them back. We're wandering, and God's working things out to where, thank you. So thank you, mothers, and happy Mother's Day.